Fucking Hoi4, baby. We got Mum pretending she understands The Beginning of Time by Stephen Hawking.
Oh, I don't. I certainly don't.
And that's why I said pretending. Listen, you daft pillock.
I'm not pretending at all. I'm not pretending at all. I'm having trouble with words like and the.
She got a fucking B in English. Literature. That makes it worse. Because if it's a B in fucking literature. Literature. Literature is definitely the easier paper.
Is it bollock?
Calm your fucking ass. Jesus.
No! Internet! Which one's easier? Language or literature? Language by landslide.
Literature. They're very similar, really, because it's just.
What the fuck?
It's just taking apart what the person's saying.
Language is language, right?
Language in art.
It works on what's said and how to spell it, basically.
No, ours are
really, basically.
The ways are.
Literature is interpretation.
Ours is the way. Literature is interpretation. The way our language works, though, is taking apart what people say and figuring out the how and why of it. Not spelling and shit. So, if I was to say to you... Actually, if I was to read out the first page of the Moshi stories, right? Mm-hmm. The idea wouldn't be... In the literature, you'd be looking at how I was using structure, techniques, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like repetitiveness, and how I phrased it, length, where I put my punctuation, the way I would make it in order to actually put something.
Yeah.
Language is how have I phrased it, why have I phrased it, how I phrased it, and why did I do it in the first place? Why did I make it the way it did for the story? How did I make it as it did? Mm-hmm. So it'd be interesting. And the most important part in my eyes is why. Just please question.
Yeah, but we started with the discussion, which one's easier?
Literature
is harder than language.
Literature's easier by a landslide.
No chance.
It's because literature works with more of a creative idea, because it's like able to infer more. Language is just basically structuring, and personally, I find it's very annoying, which is why I like animating. I don't have to have a structure, I just need to tell a story.
Language is easy because it's basically the bricks of the language, whereas literature is the painting on the wall. It's when you've got to be creative and
the literature is the bricks, right? The language is cement in between. Because if you can't structure it, you're fucked.
Yeah, but the literature is harder because it's interpretation of what people... You read between the lines with literature.
Yeah, and that's what makes it easier. You're able to interpret it.
How does that make it easier?
Because if you're able to interpret it, you're able to argue it. And if you're able to argue it, that's what it is.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
That's literally what literature is.
I get what you're saying.
You make an inference, and then you support your claim.
I know what you're saying. Boom. But what's easier for most people is language, which is, this is how you form a sentence. There's a capital letter at the beginning and a full stop at the end, and it has to make sense.
Yeah, but it's also asking...
You've got nouns, you've got adjectives, you've got adverbs.
Yeah, but for us now...
verbs.
Yeah, but for us now, it's also then asking, why did they use the punctuation in that way? Why did they stop here? Why did they use this? How did they use it? And how does it tell you about the story?
Well, because I'm really old. And
like in the poem.
It was slightly different years ago.
Like in a poem with us, right? When a poet uses punctuation halfway through a sentence, that's always a major deal breaker, because usually a poem is line, punctuation, or it'll just continue into the next one before ending. So when a poet uses a punctuation halfway through, that's basically saying it's going to be tense, dramatic, stop you, fuck you. It's basically just maybe that stop-start pattern. it's used in bayonet charge to a great efficiency. Basically, it's meant to be stop, start, stop, start. It's meant to give a very tense,
Just from
very
title.
sharp
Yeah.
kind of idea.
Yeah.
While in Kamikaze, it doesn't.
But that's
use
literature. That's interpretation.
Exactly, that's why it makes it easier.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Not bad.
A lot of people struggle more with literature than language, though.
It's literally just literature's literally just interpreting things and then arguing it. I find that easier because it's more creative, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see your point.
Right, I'll see you guys later.